Howdy folks, and welcome back to Ref Shaw Outdoors. And today we're just going to talk about some types of bullets, what they're used for, what they shouldn't be used for, and that kind of stuff. So here I've got 5 different kinds of 10 millimeter, and we'll just start here on the end. This is a 220 grain hard cast buffalo bore, and what that is used for, that is for bear defense. A hard cast bullet doesn't deform like at all. It's not technically an expanding bullet. You definitely wouldn't want to use a hard cast in your EDC sidearm, because this will go through, 3 people, cars, walls. Stopping a hard cast bullet is pretty tough. They don't expand. I've used hard cast bullets as a hunting bullet before in different caliber, different cartridges, rifle cartridges. Now, depending on your state, that might not be 100% legal because it's not an expanding bullet. Although 444, that knocks anything with a hard cast, it knocks anything over. But that's such a huge hole. But now, again, that's what the hard cast is for. You definitely would not want to use that in your EDC sidearm. And next up, this is a Hornady, fingers in the way, DGH. They call it Dangerous Game Handgun. This is kind of Hornady attempting, or it's their answer to like Buffalo Bore and Underwood and Grizzly cartridge. I'm pretty sure this is, that's Buffalo Bore. Buffalo Bore actually says Buffalo Bore on the brass. Grizzly cartridge, you can find them sometimes, but anyway, if you look at this, when I looked at these, I thought, what in the world? It almost looks, it's not really a hollow point. The lead core is recessed a little bit in the copper jacket, and I thought for sure that would expand. And amazingly, when I shot it into a bunch of red oak 1x6s, it didn't expand at all. It penetrated quite well. So I was actually pretty impressed with it. But again, this is a defense against wild animals bullet. Again, it's not an expanding bullet, so it's going to be tough to stop. You don't want to use that in your EDC. Next, we got your basic 180 grain FMJ. This is Sig Sauer ammunition, and you could use this as a backcountry defense bullet. It's not quite as hard as a hard cast because it's got a soft lead core, so it can squeeze down. The meat plat on the front isn't nearly as big, but in a pinch, you could use that for your backcountry defense. But for the most part, 180 grain FMJs in the 10 millimeter is basically your practice round. I've heard different theories on some 180 grain FMJ 10 millimeters loaded down, some is full power. that's something I'll have to test. But now we're gonna move on. Again, 180 grain FMJ. I would not use that in an EDC because that is going to over penetrate. Now, let's move on to some hollow points here. This is a CCI or Blazer 180 grain hollow point, and it is a very, very, let's see, I don't even know if you can tell, but that's a very, very deep cavity hollow point. That would be an anti-personnel bullet. Again, I'm probably going to sound like Captain Obvious to some people, but I have gotten some comments that some people that watch my videos really don't know, and they want to learn. So I'm going to explain how a hollow point bullet works. And it's actually made for under penetration. So when that bullet hits whatever you're shooting at, it fills with whatever, and so that cavity fills up, and then it expands, and it expands almost sometimes as big as twice the original diameter. So from 10 millimeters, you might get 20 millimeters. That's awfully wide, but I mean at least 15. And then when it overexpands, that it slows it down and keeps it from obviously over penetrating. So for an EDC, that's what you should use. You should use hollow points. Do not use hollow points in your backcountry defense pistol, because that is a different situation. If you shot a bear or cougar in the head, or even, well, if you shot a bear in the chest with a hollow point, it would flatten out, and I doubt it would even make it through the hide. It definitely wouldn't make it through any muscle. If you tried to hit him in the head, it would flatten out on the skull. A bear's skull is amazingly hard. That's why people go with hard cast bullets. Because it's not going to expand or deform. So that's the theory behind that. Here, this is a Sig Sauer 180 grain hollow point. This doesn't have nearly as deep a cavity, and this will penetrate a little bit more than these with the deeper cavity, because there's less. It's not going to expand as violently or as much. But again, that would be a good, your typical EDC backup round. Now, again, don't carry those into the backcountry. And, if you need to use your pistol in a life or death situation and you got hollow points, it ain't gonna work out too good for you. So a lot of it comes down to, and to be completely honest, cartridge selection. There's variables, but selecting the right bullet for the job is paramount to success. Like I said, if you went out and tried to stop a bear with a hollow point, 180 grain hollow point, it wouldn't work. And then you would say the 10 millimeter's junk. Well, it's many bears have been stopped with a 10 millimeter with 220 grain hard cast. 45 Colt standard factory load, say a 225 or 250 grain jacketed soft point, not going to perform as well as a 270 grain hard cast, which is almost impossible to buy because 45 Colt is so across the board on pressure, or what certain guns can handle. But 44 Magnum, same thing. Don't use a hollow point or a jacketed soft point as a bear defense bullet because it's not going to work. So that's what that's how these different bullets work. And like I said, bullet selection is paramount in any cartridge you use for any purpose. I hope this helped out some people out there that had some questions. That'll be today's video. And I'm Pete Refshaw with Refshaw Outdoors. Keep your powder dry.